I think it's finally time that I expose the truth that my hair is not really my hair. Yeah, right, I'm just kidding. This is all mine, baby. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. In a recent video I posted that I of course will list below, I was talking about the fact that in my ongoing hair education journey, I will sometimes discover things that disprove concepts I previously believed to be true. And I have no problem learning that I was actually wrong about something that I thought I was right about at one point in time, but it can sometimes cause issues when people discover my channel through old videos where I am sharing outdated thoughts about hair care. So as a way to kind of course correct, if you will, we are going to be taking a look at some of the things I said in old videos that I no longer agree with. And I think that this is important because it not only allows me to give you guys more accurate information, but it also gives me the space to acknowledge the fact that I am never ever going to be 100% right about every single thing that I say. I think a lot of people are afraid to publicly admit when they've made a mistake or done something wrong, but I actually think it's a really important part of the learning process. I'm actually proud of the fact that my opinions and thoughts have evolved over the past few years because I think it's a reflection of how much work I have put into educating myself on hair care, when really it's a topic that's super difficult to find reputable. What? I just blacked out. It's difficult to find accurate and reputable information on this topic. I will even find scientific sources that contradict themselves within the text. And that's if there's even text to be reading in the first place. There are so many different aspects of hair care that have little to no information on them at all. So I have no problem taking a look at old videos and pointing out anything that I said that is actually not correct. I would much rather publicly correct myself in that way than have people feeling confused about something that I said, or think that I contradict myself, or at the worst, think that I lie. That's like actually my worst nightmare. So this will be a very interesting video to say the least. I am cringing just thinking about it. There is something about watching myself on camera that I absolutely despise, especially if it's a really old video. It truly makes me cringe, but I'm gonna do it for you guys. There are things that I want to set straight. Did that make sense as a sentence? Whatever, you get what I mean. Without further ado, let's do this. One example that comes to mind for me immediately is when I was dealing with protein buildup on my hair. I was on the hunt to find a protein-free shampoo that was very, very basic to fully get rid of that buildup and clarify my hair to kind of restore it to its natural state. So if you've been around for the past few years, you have been on several journeys with me when it comes to my hair. And one of those journeys was using rice water and testing it out when it went super viral on TikTok, like back when TikTok first started. And I thought that rice water caused protein overload on my hair because that is what literally every single person in my comments on TikTok was telling me. I'm telling you, everybody was like, you have to be so careful with rice water because it can give you protein overload. That causes breakage. And not only were there comments like that on my videos, there were articles and videos about it, hairstylists speaking out, hair experts saying that you have to be super careful using rice water because it can cause protein buildup or protein overload, which can eventually lead to breakage. So when I started having all of this breakage, I was like, oh, it must be that, but I don't really know anything about that, and I really don't like talking about things that are kind of just spread through word of mouth. I really, really like to find reputable sources that talk about information like that so that I know that they're scientifically factual and I have a resource to point to. But this was the one topic that I could not find anything on, like not a shred of scientific information talking about protein overload. All that I was able to find were these news sources or magazine articles or blog posts from hair experts, and again, the millions of comments on social media. So I went on this protein-free journey where I was trying to find all of these different products that were protein-free, and it was super difficult because protein was in everything, but I was so nervous to use anything that would make my hair break more because I was experiencing breakage in a way that I had never experienced it before. And I made a whole video talking all about it and the products that I was using that didn't contain protein and kind of how I revived my hair from protein overload. I actually remember filming, editing, and uploading that video and just not feeling right about it in my gut because I had never done that before. I had never not found a source to really back up what I was saying. And in the back of my head, I think I I knew, like, something feels off about this, but because I couldn't find any other information, I was like, I guess this must be true because it's what literally everyone says. So I regretted uploading it because I had never done that before, and I never did it again after because I just did not like the way it made me feel, even though I still didn't really have any proof that that wasn't true, until I discovered this amazing chemist that I have told you guys about on Instagram. Her name is Helene, and she goes by Science Meets Cosmetics. She has a couple different posts on her account that talk about why protein overload is not real. And I think I actually brought these posts up in one of my Olaplex videos that I filmed recently, but I am going to list those in my description box below again. She does such an incredible job of explaining why protein overload is not actually real. And please follow her and tell her that I sent you. She deserves to have 5 million followers for the amount of information that she posts. She's a PhD chemist. She's just so awesome. I have nothing but respect for her. But essentially what I thought was protein overload and what everyone thinks is protein overload is actually just your hair not being conditioned properly. So as a result, it's feeling brittle and you may be experiencing excess breakage. So what you need to do is condition your hair, not avoid protein-based ingredients and conditioners. They're not building up on your hair. They're not making your hair break off. Over-proteinization is not real, and thank goodness for Helene for setting the story straight. Discovering her account a couple years ago really inspired me to look for sources in a new way. So I have a list of databases and sources that I will rely on for accurate, reputable information, and if I can't find a single thing, like in the case of this protein overload, and all I can find is everything that I just told you guys about, the comments, the articles, the magazines, etc., I will never, ever pass that on as factual information ever again, because I was wrong and I learned my lesson. Also, I forgot to address the fact that I'm in a totally different setup. I am actually at my parents' house right now. I am dog sitting for them for the weekend. There's 4 dogs in this house right now, including Elsie. So if you hear nails clicking or any sort of commotion, it's the dogs. Hi, buddy. It's my parents' rescue named Vinny. He's such a sweet boy. Yeah. Oh, and there she is, of course. Dogs everywhere. I actually did use a Pantene shampoo in that scenario, and it helped me so much. So I'm not saying that this is always bad, but for the most part, on a weekly basis, if you're trying to maintain healthy hair, this is just something that I would say is probably not going to be your best bet. So for that reason, I am going to put Pantene in the I'll probably pass category, because again, on a weekly basis for me, this is definitely something that I would pass on personally. Let's talk about the most viral hair care brand of the moment, Pantene. I just posted an entire video sharing my thoughts on this drugstore versus high-end hair care debate that has taken over social media. And within this whole debate, I would say that Pantene is definitely the brand that has gotten the most attention. When I made this video where I was ranking drugstore hair care brands, I was using my knowledge based on past experience and using the products that I was referencing / the ingredients list, because at the time that I was using Pantene shampoo, I didn't know what ingredients were in it. I didn't even know that you should be looking at ingredients. So while I had definitely used a lot of products from those brands in recent years, there were a couple brands like Pantene that I hadn't used in several years. So in thinking back on when I used to use Pantene, I was like, yeah, it's not bad, but it is just pretty basic, and there are products that I am using now that I switched to since using Pantene that make my hair feel incredible, that I really, really love. But I also did not have the extensive hair care routine that I have now. I, of course, wasn't using bond repair products because that wasn't even a thing back then. I really didn't know anything about hair care. I probably didn't even use leave-in conditioner, to be honest. And all of those things are super important factors to consider in how your hair looks and feels and how healthy your hair is. So while there are definitely Pantene products that by themselves don't make my hair feel as soft and silky and amazing as some of my favorite products, there are Pantene shampoos and conditioners that I can now use in conjunction with my favorite leave-in products like Pureology Color Fanatic and the Living Proof Triple Bond Complex that I actually end up really enjoying. So for example, I recently tested out the Pantene Volume Shampoo and Conditioner, and I loved how my hair felt. I actually used that this wash. I loved how my hair felt after, because the shampoo really, really clarified my hair, and the conditioner was actually very nice. All of that to say, yes, there are a lot of Pantene products that I would still consider to be relatively basic, but that is not a bad thing, and for some, that's going to work amazingly well. For others, those products may not work as well. Let's say there's somebody who has extreme bleach damage, like your hair's hanging on by a thread. You may feel like you need something like a Pureology Strength Cure or an Amika The Cure. Those products were specifically formulated for extremely damaged hair, and they make my hair feel amazing. I love those products. And while I can still appreciate those lines, I also am not as worried about using them every single time that I wash my hair, because my hair is in such a better place than it was a few years ago. So after testing out some Pantene products, I would shift them up to some hits, some misses. I think they have some great products, some are definitely misses, but you can definitely still achieve healthy hair with a brand like Pantene. What matters is the entire equation: how you're caring for your hair, the rest of the products that you're using, your wash day routine, your post-wash maintenance, how much heat you're using, the coloring, etc. Then we have the range that I cannot shut up about. It's the Redken Acidic Bonding Concentrate line, and I have been obsessed with this line for a few months at this point. So this line's a little bit different from those other two because this primarily kind of backs up that bond repair claim through low pH products. So it has a high concentration of citric acid, which will help to lower the pH. This is a topic that I have since learned a little bit more about. I told you guys that I took a hair science course last summer, and they did talk about different bond repair products. I would say kind of high level. What I really took away from that part of the course was that there's not much information out there on this at all, aside from what the brands who make these products are publishing themselves. So there is so much research to be done still about bond repair ingredients and how they actually repair the hair. And yes, citric acid is an acidic ingredient that can help to lower the pH of a product and in turn benefit the hair, but it actually serves further benefit than just that. There's more to citric acid than that. So in this course, they talked about the fact that the hypothesis with organic acids like citric acid is that they can actually occupy those water binding sites, which therefore will help to reduce the water content of the hair. However, that is really all that they were able to share because again, there's just not much information out there on this topic that is publicly available. I feel like I'm throwing my hands at the camera. I'm sorry. Then after that, I will rinse that out and go in with my regular shampoo, which is not a clarifying shampoo. The reason I don't use that twice is because that could be overly stripping to the hair. With one use, it's totally fine, but I will go in with one of these two shampoos. This is something I specifically wanted to bring up because I still see comments to this day talking about this thing that I used to do. And what some of you may remember is that whenever I shampooed my hair, I would first shampoo with a clarifying shampoo and then after that use a normal non-clarifying shampoo. And the reason why I did that is because at the time my hair was so incredibly damaged, so it did feel a bit stripped on the ends if I used a clarifying shampoo 2 times. But again, my hair is in a totally different place now than it was then, so I no longer have that issue. I have no problem using a clarifying shampoo twice in a row. That is usually what I'll do these days because now I love how it makes my hair feel and I have no issues with my hair feeling really dry or brittle on the ends after I do something like that. So however you choose to shampoo is totally up to personal preference, what's going on with your hair and your scalp. Whatever you need is what is best for you. Okay, tip number 3 is to make sure that you're not overdoing it on products that are supposed to absorb excess oils or add volume and texture on this part of your hair. So basically everywhere on your hair except for directly around the roots, because obviously as the week goes on, when you need dry shampoo, you need dry shampoo. That's a different story. But putting products like that all over the length of your hair day after day can really dry out the hair and actually eventually lead to breakage. So just be careful with products. That's not really true in the way that I meant it. That is definitely a big myth that these aerosol-based products that are meant to add texture, volume, or absorb oil can dry our hair out and cause it to break off. They're actually not drying our hair out though. What's really happening when we use products like that is they're creating a film on the hair that just makes it feel dry or maybe rough or brittle or some of those unpleasant things that we don't really want our hair to feel like. And those products could actually eventually lead to breakage, but not because they're drying out your hair, not for the reason that I thought. It's because when you're using products like that, number 1, your hair is definitely more susceptible to mat and tangle. But number 2, unless you're also using oils on top of them or something else to condition your hair, They definitely don't make your hair as slippery and lubricated, which is going to make it more difficult to detangle. Sorry, I'm out of breath from running to grab this dog. This is our 17-year-old dog, Gracie. And when your hair is more difficult to detangle, it's more likely to break. Okay, my very last tip is the one that I started to implement most recently, but I'm already loving so much, and it's to use rice water on the hair. So I know this went viral on TikTok probably, like months ago now over the summer. And I was late to the game. I was apprehensive about it, didn't really know how I felt about it, but I decided to kind of make it an experiment and test it out. Oh my gosh, I want to be like, girl, stick with the apprehension, don't do it. I loved rice water at first. It made my hair so soft and shiny. It just looked healthy, like people were commenting on my hair, but I definitely overused it, and eventually it did not agree with my hair anymore, and my hair started snapping off. And it wasn't snapping off because of the rice water alone, but it was just something about the combination of my bleached hair and that rice water that my hair was like, okay, that's enough. We're just gonna fall off your head. So that is the last time I experimented with a hair care trend like that. I do not have plans to test out anything like that ever again, because boy, did I pay for that for like 2.5 years. I was trying to repair my hair forever. I still would have had breakage eventually with the level of bleach damage that I had, but I think I just really accelerated things by adding in that rice water. But aside from that, it also has other really nice oils, like again, the sea buckthorn avocado oil. It has vitamin E, so I think just all of them, the ingredients work well together. I mean, oh my God. Oh. Like, that should not be detangling that easy, if we're being honest. Oh! Please, for the love of God, do not brush your hair like this. Libby, little sister, I'm looking at you. She did that in my presence a couple weeks ago, and I literally ripped the brush out of her hands, and I was like, don't you ever do that in front of me again. You will not catch me brushing my hair like that ever again. It is so bad for your hair to just brush straight through tangles like that. That point where your hair is tangled or knotted together is what will catch on the brush and then just break off. So watching me do that up here where I had the tangles like more towards my root, I'm like, girl, you're about to rip off an entire strand of hair. And careful styling and maintenance is so underrated because it is so important in maintaining healthy hair. You can use all of the best products out there, have the best routine, use bond repair products, oils, but if you are not careful and gentle when you're styling your hair, you can still experience breakage. So please do not do what I just did there. I am so careful and gentle now when I brush, comb, style, anything my hair. And I do actually have an entire video where I walk through the best ways to detangle and brush and comb so that you experience the least amount of breakage possible. All right, you guys, that is it for today's video. We're gonna wrap this up here, but before you go, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you would like to see more videos like this, let me know. I can definitely do that because Lord knows there's more out there that I no longer agree with. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, send my channel to a friend, do all of those things. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching my videos. It means the world. I love the freaking heck out of you guys. Make sure to stay tuned for my next one because that will be up in a few days. But until then, I hope you have a great few days.